What's up, you guys? It's 2bricks, and welcome to my the first in a new series of videos that are going to be called something Technique Tuesdays, tips and tricks with 2bricks, something catchy. You'll see it in the video title. I have to still think of a title, but the idea behind this is I talk a lot about building mocks and being creative and creating stuff out of Lego and the wonderful hobby that is the Lego brick, but I don't often talk about specific techniques and problem-solving ideas that I encounter. I typically just tend to give you a finished model and say, here's what I did. And so I thought it'd be really fun to take some of those moments that I have as a Lego fan where I go, how would I build that thing? And then actually try to build that thing and then show you guys how I built that thing. So this video is going to be about the thought that I had of how would I build a door with a porthole in it, and how would I integrate that door into a larger build that I was working on. And this is just one solution, one particular way, and I kind of just ended up building this little test model to show you guys how I might approach it in this particular way. So I was watching Star Wars Rebels. I'm doing a big Star Wars rewatch right now. And I noticed that the Captain Rex's ATTE vehicle has a door with a porthole in it, and I went back and looked at the official set to see how they had tackled it, and it was a regular door piece, flat, just with no hole cut out, and just a sticker to indicate the porthole. And I was like, how would I do that in Lego pieces? So that's what I did here, and I just want to kind of give you guys the rundown on each stage of the thought process and how I ended up arriving at this particular model and why. So yeah, let's just kind of dive in and take a look at this little vignette. Okay, so the first thing I'll take a look at is the functionality of the door itself. So it has a little handle on both sides, so it's fairly realistic in its depiction, and you can just open it up and it opens nice and smoothly. And then I'm using a large one of these modified tile pieces that have just studs around the outer edge here to attach to use as my base. Because it gives you the freedom to have the door go down all the way to the floor, but still be able to move, obviously, because there aren't any studs interfering with that. So that was step one. And then the next thing I decided to do is figure out, well, how am I going to do the actual porthole itself? And the obvious solution that came to mind was to use these, these quarter-rounded macaroni tiles, and then on the back here using the fully rounded piece with a hole in it, because it gives you the same footprint, so you can see right the way through it. And then just using the fact that you have the little bit of corner support there on the edges to just kind of wedge in two pieces here for the glass, two tiles to create the glass color there, and then just kind of keeping it all pinned in place. And then I thought, well, since I'm doing it with plates, I need to figure out how I'm going to attach the door to the door frame. And what am I going to do for that? Well, so I came up with just a fully sideways plate-built door here that will have hinge pieces on the side in the form of these bars. And then I just kind of figured out the spacing that felt natural to me. Like I wanted to have a certain amount of space above and below the door that makes it feel kind of normal. So I went with 4 studs up to the glass and then 1 stud above, and I thought that felt like a good ratio. So next I wanted to integrate a handle, and previously I had just a 2x4 plate under here, a regular 2x4 plate. But then I realized if I wanted to integrate this handle piece, there isn't enough clearance in here for this to sit on a studded surface, so I replaced that 2x4 with 2 of these 1x4 modified tiles with the stud on one or on either side. And then that just kind of led me to that kind of interesting panel look that the center of the door has with it's almost like it has the rivets around the outside, so this is kind of like I don't know, this is the kind of a door you might see on like a naval vessel or something like that, or a very heavy duty, like I don't know, like some kind of a bunker, and it's got the big, swinging handle there. So it's kind of a cool thing, and that's just sort of what I ended up feeling like this was going to be. Like this could be on a large battleship model or something like that. And then, so once I had the actual kind of layout here for the door, I decided to figure out, well, I can't just have the door. How am I going to mount it? And plate-built doors are notoriously tricky spacing-wise, and the reason for that is that if you build it in the standard Lego dimensions, so you would have a brick that comes right up to the edge of the frame here, the door won't be able to open. It'll be wedged in place because the bricks will just come right up to the edge here, and no amount of clearance is given, so then the door will just catch and it won't be able to open. So first thing I had to figure out is, once I have it mounted, how do I then have it be able to open? So the solution that I came up with is on the back here. I should actually probably take some stuff off. Hang on. Okay, so normally I would have the same exact structure mirrored on both sides to mount this wall, plating here too. And I would have two rows of studs holding it in here, and then an inner row, and that would just give you the door frame shape, right? So what I did was I just removed the inner row that I would usually have in order to make room for a different solution to take up the space on the side of the door here. So this is what you end up with when you put it all back together. So there you go. And so the solution that I came up with was something that's just shy of 2 bricks thick, and that is using these bracket pieces here, these kind of panel brackets, and then placing a brick on the side of that, and then a single row of tiles on the end, and that just gives you the spacing where it doesn't quite meet up to the edge. It gives you a little bit of gap there, and that just gives you the clearance to be able to open the door. So that kind of Lego math necessitated the whole kind of interior shape of this area, which is why there's a sort of a cutout here, whereas on the other side the bricks just come all the way up to the edge. Then I was trying to see here about the inner side of the door, and I had this previously, this was a gap, and then I figured, well, what if I try sticking a tile in there? Will there be enough clearance for the door to open still? And luckily, yes, there is. So that is just a really nice clean solution there, where you're able to have this come up and meet really, really nice and close in to the edge of this door, and it still works just fine. So I was really happy that that worked out. So then we have the actual mounting here for the door is just these double, I went for the double clip and hinge pieces. They kind of look like door hinges to me. And then all I have to do is basically have a row of tiles, and then behind that a gap where the inside kind of mechanism of this that gives you the clearance for the inside portion of the clip, and then that gap just kind of sits behind there, and it gives it the exact room that it needs. So that just kind of, that all made sense, and then went ahead and just kind of tiled off the remaining edges here as much as I could. So obviously these studs need to be here for the brackets, but and these for the hinges, but the rest could just be tiled off. And then I wanted to see if I could integrate this with a regular, straight up and down brick building structure. So say you had a large wall that you were building that was just made of regular bricks, and then so I just had to basically build bricks up the side here, and then add a single plate, and then on top of this I was able to just finish it off. And so the way that I integrated this normal kind of brick building here into this structure, I started off by placing a row of these modified studs on the side bricks along the topmost edge of my wall panel here. And then I had the bottom row here that was already in place to just keep it secure to the ground, and then I just built upwards and just saw how many bricks it would take to reach that top point. And then so that allows me for a nice secure kind of level there to basically, if I have a very large structure here that I want to support on the top, I can just know that that is going to be held in there really, really securely, because it's not just stacked up bricks, it's also integrated into the actual it's holding onto the wall from the top and the bottom as well. So it makes it really, really sturdy. And this is like a really nice and strong piece here. So you could really support a lot of weight on this. You could put a whole other level of a walkway and other characters and other floors on top of this, and it would absolutely hold its weight, no problem. So that just kind of gives you, I guess, a look into how my Lego brain works. Oh, and of course, every stud counts. So I figured, since I have this sideways built section down here, which is just blank bricks, I may as well put a headlight brick for one of these in here sideways, like so, and then I could just use that for a little locking control panel type of thing. And this just seemed like such a hefty door, I thought it would be cool to have a little locking mechanism kind of indication in there. So that's what that was. But yeah, so that kind of gives you a sense of how I think about Lego problems and solve them one component at a time. it all kind of, I mean, it stemmed from just this and my desire to have a door with a hole in it, and then it just kind of grew out from there. So that's kind of how Lego works for me most of the time. I start with one small area and then I kind of bleed out from there until I have a huge finished thing, or I'll have a lot of different sections that I start figuring out one solution to one problem at a time, and then I merge all of those different areas together until I have a completed build. So I don't know, hopefully it was cool for you guys to see just some thought process, a little bit of Lego math, a little bit of solution to a common problem, because I think Lego plate built doors have been stumping me for a long time anyway. You know, when you build them sideways like this, and I think this is a pretty neat solution for this specific kind of door. Obviously you could make it a lot simpler if you didn't have the need to integrate a window into it and it was just a kind of a square or rectangular door. You'd have a lot better time and a lot easier time making it work. So but yeah, I think the big breakthrough for me was figuring out this section here to get just that little bit of a gap in the side here and just let that door open with ease. So that's really cool. So there you go. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you got something useful out of it, please leave me a comment and let me know. Have you ever experimented with building doors and walls for structures in this way? And have you had success or failure in the past? Let me know. I love to hear from you guys in the community, and I always love to learn new techniques myself. I'm constantly learning as a builder, of course. And yeah, maybe I'll try integrating this into a build in the future if I end up ever doing the ATTE that inspired me from Rebels. I'll be sure to try to do something like this to honor that original point of inspiration. And yeah, this was a fun video. So just yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more of this kind of thing. Are there particular Lego problems and kind of Lego math issues that you're struggling with, that you've had trouble with in the past? I would love to dive in and try to think of different ways to solve those problems. So yeah, that's it for today, you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to get to work on the next video. Bye for now.